Has someone you love started showing subtle but concerning changes over the past year? Many people assume that death in old age happens suddenly, but the truth is, the body often sends quiet warnings months, sometimes even a year, before life reaches its final stage. The problem is, most people miss these signs because they seem small at first. It's only later, looking back, that families realize the clues were there all along. But by then, it's too late to prepare, too late to make those last memories count. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 key signs that often appear about a year before an elderly person passes away. Some of them might be things you've noticed but brushed off as just aging. Others might be changes that seem minor, but actually signal the body's gradual decline. Recognizing these signs early gives you the opportunity to provide better care, cherish meaningful moments, and most importantly, ensure that your loved one's final stage of life is filled with comfort, dignity, and peace. Stay with us until the end, because these 5 signs can help you prepare emotionally and practically for what's ahead. When you understand what's happening, you won't be caught off guard. You'll be able to make the most of the time you have left with those you love. Before we begin, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more helpful guides. We share new insights every day to help you care for your loved ones with wisdom and compassion, and feel free to share your experiences in the comments. Your story might help another family. Number 1, unexplained weight loss. One of the earliest and most telling signs that a person may be approaching the final year of their life is unintentional weight loss. At first, it might seem subtle, a belt suddenly needing new holes, clothes looking looser, or a hearty appetite fading away. Many families dismiss it as just getting older, but losing weight without trying is rarely a good sign in the elderly. It often means the body is no longer absorbing nutrients, while muscle mass is decreasing and essential systems are slowing down. In the final year of life, appetite changes are common. Your loved one simply doesn't feel hungry like before. Food might not taste the same, or they get full quickly. The body, sensing it's beginning to shut down, no longer signals the brain to seek food as often. The result? Less eating, less energy, more weakness, a downward spiral. For example, 80-year-old Hassan began losing weight and appetite. His doctor explained it was a sign of his final phase. So the family stopped forcing big meals and instead offered small, frequent snacks of his favorite foods. They also made sure to spend more time with him during meals, cherishing those moments instead of worrying about calories. Action tip: if you notice significant weight loss in an elderly loved one, especially if they're eating less and feeling weaker, pay attention. This isn't about fitting into old clothes. It's about the body sending a message. Rather than forcing large meals, which can be uncomfortable, offer nutritious, small portions throughout the day. A little bowl of soup, a half sandwich, a smoothie, whatever they enjoy and can easily handle. Focus on foods high in calories and protein to keep up their strength, like yogurt, pudding, mashed avocado, or milkshakes. And most importantly, make mealtime pleasant. Sit with them, even if they're only nibbling. Your presence and patience are more nourishing than the food itself. Use this time to share stories and express love. Comment number 1 below. If you've noticed a loved one losing weight and how you're handling it, your experience could help someone in the same situation. Number 2, extreme fatigue and weakness. Another sign that the end may be nearing is deep, persistent fatigue. We're not talking about the normal tiredness after a long day. This is an exhaustion that doesn't go away with rest. It's when your loved one is sleeping more and more, yet still waking up tired. Getting out of bed might become a challenge. Even sitting and talking for too long wears them out. They might start napping multiple times a day and feel too weak to do the simplest things like bathing or getting dressed. This isn't just old age, it's often the body conserving what little energy it has left for vital functions. In the final stage of life, organ function slows and the body prioritizes the essentials, like heart and brain. That means your loved one will have far less energy for movement or socializing. For instance, 78-year-old Miriam suddenly felt exhausted by even small tasks. Her son adjusted her daily routine to match her energy. Slower mornings, more naps, and help with chores. By respecting her limits and not pushing her, he made her days much more comfortable. Action tip: If someone is experiencing profound fatigue, the best thing you can do is meet them where they are. Adjust their daily routine, allow for sleeping in, and schedule any necessary activities, like doctor visits or a bath, during the time of day they seem a bit more alert. Make sure their living space is comfortable. Maybe set up a cozy armchair or recliner in a sunny spot, so even if they're resting, they can enjoy the view or be in the family circle. Offer help with tasks they find tiring. For example, use a shower chair so they can sit while bathing, or assist with dressing so they don't get worn out just getting ready. Encourage short, gentle walks if they're able, even a few steps to the porch and back. But be okay with days when even that is too much. Patience is key. They may feel guilty or frustrated about their weakness. Reassure them that it's okay and you're just happy to be with them. In Islam, caring for someone who is weak is a deed of great reward, so consider this care and honor, not a burden. Comment number 2 below if you've noticed a parent or elder become much weaker, and share one way you made their day easier. We're here to learn from each other. Number 3, cognitive confusion or withdrawal. One of the most heartbreaking changes is when a senior starts to become confused, disoriented, or socially withdrawn in their final year. You might notice they're more forgetful, missing appointments, repeating questions, or getting mixed up about time. Or perhaps they're just not as interested in conversation or activities they used to love. They might sit quietly for long periods, seemingly in their own world. As the body is winding down, sometimes the mind drifts inward. Reduced blood flow or mini strokes in the brain can cause confusion. Emotionally, a person might also begin to detach from life as a way of preparing for the end. They may talk less, sleep more, or even have mild hallucinations, like seeing loved ones who've passed away. For example, 85-year-old George became confused and withdrawn. His family responded with patience and calm. They gently reminded him of the day and who was with him, kept familiar photos around, and spent quiet, comforting time by his side. Instead of correcting his memory, they offered simple answers and plenty of reassurance. This patience made George feel safe and loved despite his confusion. Action tip: when an elder shows signs of confusion or withdraws socially, the goal is to provide comfort, not correction. If Grandpa thinks it's 1950 or calls you by someone else's name, it's usually best not to argue. Gently orient them. We're at home, it's Tuesday morning, and I'm your daughter Sarah. But if they get agitated, don't push it. Surround them with familiar, calming things. Play their favorite old songs. Have family photo albums within reach. Maybe recite soothing verses of the Quran or a prayer with them. Keep visits calm and quiet. Too many people or too much noise can overwhelm a confused mind. Make sure one family member is always explaining what's happening in a gentle tone. It's time for lunch now. Here's your warm soup. And above all, be patient. The Quran reminds us, do not say to them, your parents, even "uff," "ah," nor scold them. 17:23. This is the time to truly live that verse. Even if mom asks the same question 10 times, answer with kindness each time. Your gentle approach will comfort them in a way nothing else can. Comment number 3 below. If you've experienced an elder becoming confused or distant, how did you cope or comfort them? Your insight can guide someone going through this now. Number 4, frequent infections and slow healing. As the final stage of life approaches, an elderly person's immune system often weakens dramatically. You might notice they're getting sick more often. Perhaps they've had repeated infections like UTIs or bouts of pneumonia in the last few months. Or maybe that small cut on their leg from gardening is still red and not healing after weeks. When the body begins to wind down, its ability to fight germs and repair tissues drops. This means what used to be a mild cold can turn into a serious chest infection. A tiny bruise can become a large sore. Essentially, the body's repair crew is retiring. Wounds heal slower, and illnesses linger longer. If you find your loved one is on antibiotics frequently, or every little scrape becomes an ordeal, take it as a sign. For example, 82-year-old Maria started getting frequent infections, and her wounds healed very slowly. Her family responded by keeping her warm and clean, and by treating even minor cuts and coughs immediately. They kept her covered with blankets, helped turn her in bed to prevent sores, and limited her exposure to sick visitors. By being proactive, they noticed Maria stayed healthier and avoided serious infections that year. Action tip: if your loved one is catching every bug going around or seems to always have some infection, it's time to be proactive and protective. Simple steps can make a big difference. Keep them warm, because a warm body fights infection better. Use cozy blankets or keep the room comfortably heated. Keep them hydrated and well-nourished to support their immune system. Even small cups of broth, juice, or nutrient shakes help if they eat little. Practice good hygiene. Wash hands often, yours and theirs. And kindly ask sick relatives to wait until they're better before visiting. Check their skin daily for any redness or cuts, and treat even small wounds with care. Clean and bandage them, and see a nurse or doctor if they don't improve. Talk to their doctor about whether they should be on vitamin supplements or need any preventive measures like a flu shot or pneumonia vaccine. Essentially, wrap them in a bubble of love and care. Reduce their exposure to illness and address issues early. It's an act of mercy and can significantly improve their comfort. Comment number 4 below if you have tips on caring for a senior whose health is fragile. What's one thing you did to help protect them from infections or aid their healing? Your advice can be golden for another caregiver. Number 5, changes in breathing or circulation. The last sign is perhaps the most subtle but profound. Noticeable changes in breathing or circulation. In the final weeks or days, you might observe that your loved one's breathing pattern changes. Maybe they have periods of very shallow breaths followed by a deep sigh, or moments where it seems like they stop breathing for a few seconds, known as Cheney-Stokes breathing. Their extremities, hands and feet, may often feel cold or look bluish. This happens because the heart isn't pumping as strongly and the lungs aren't as efficient, so blood flow to the limbs is reduced and breathing can become irregular. It can be jarring to witness. You may fear they're in distress. Often, though, it's a natural part of the process. The body is focusing blood on vital organs, and the brain is less responsive to carbon dioxide levels, leading to those breath pauses. For instance, 90-year-old Ali's family noticed his breathing sometimes paused and his hands and feet turned cold blue. The doctor explained his heart and lungs were shutting down, so the family focused on comfort. They kept warm socks on Ali, propped him up with pillows for easier breathing, and played soft Quran recitation next to him. They also spoke gently to him and held his hand. They saw that his breathing became calmer when they were close, and he looked more peaceful in his final days. Action tip: if you notice these end-of-life breathing and circulation changes, the priority is comfort and reassurance. Keep your loved one warm, cover them with a soft blanket, put socks on their feet, maybe even mittens on their hands if they'll tolerate it. To help with breathing, try propping them up with pillows. Lying flat can make breathing harder. Use a cool mist humidifier if the room is dry. Sometimes a little extra oxygen, if a doctor provides it, can ease their breathlessness. Most importantly, be present and speak softly. Hearing is believed to be one of the last senses to fade, so your loved one can likely hear your voice even if they can't respond. Tell them you are there. Remind them they are loved and it's okay, that they don't have to worry about anything. Many families find comfort in reading verses of the Quran or praying beside the bed at this time. It creates a peaceful atmosphere for both your loved one and everyone around. You can hold their hand if they're okay with touch. Human warmth is incredibly soothing. Think of these moments as a chance to provide the same comfort to them that they may have given you when you were younger. Comment number 5 below if you've ever sat with someone through these changes. How did you stay calm and help them feel at peace? Your experience might give strength to someone who will face this. We've discussed 5 silent signs that an elderly loved one may be in their final year: weight loss, extreme fatigue, cognitive confusion, frequent infections, and changes in breathing, circulation. These signs often appear in the year leading up to an elder's passing. They may not all happen at once, and they may not always be obvious at first. But when you start noticing them, it's a sign that the body is preparing for its final transition. For many families, these changes can be difficult to accept. It's natural to want to fight against them, to encourage a loved one to eat more, move more, or push through exhaustion. But sometimes the best thing we can do is listen to what their body is telling us. Instead of focusing on trying to reverse the inevitable, we can focus on making their remaining time as peaceful, comfortable, and meaningful as possible. Understanding these signs isn't about fearing death. It's about being prepared for it. When you recognize these changes early, you can offer better care, make important decisions ahead of time, and ensure that your loved one's final months are filled with love and dignity. This is a time for cherishing moments, sharing stories, and letting them know they are valued and not alone. If you're noticing these signs in someone close to you, take a deep breath and remember, you are not alone in this journey. Many families have walked this path before, and while it is never easy, knowing what to expect can help you find strength, patience, and peace. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Which one of today's signs surprised you the most? Have you seen any of these in your own family? Please share in the comments below. Your story or insight may help another person who's feeling unsure or scared right now. We read every comment, and we're all here to support each other like a family. If this video helped you, please like and subscribe so you won't miss our next guide. We share compassionate, practical tips every day. And if you know someone who might need to hear this, please share this video with them. Sometimes one conversation can make all the difference. If this content touched your heart and you want to help us continue spreading helpful knowledge, consider supporting us by donating. Link in description. Every bit helps us reach more people who need it. Now let's close with a simple but heartfelt prayer. O Allah, Lord of mercy and compassion, we ask you to ease the journey of our beloved elders as they near the end of life. Grant us the strength, patience, and tenderness to care for them in the best way. Forgive us and them for any shortcomings, and unite us with our loved ones in your everlasting mercy. Make their final days comfortable and filled with love, and when their time comes, allow them to leave this world with faith and peace. And when our time comes, let us be surrounded by caring and understanding hearts as well. Ameen.